Aquarium algae is the absolute worst, and it usually drives beginners crazy because they run in place and fall for marketing gimmicks trying to get rid of it. But here's the simple truth, it's actually not that hard to deal with. You just have to understand the very basics. My name is Logan, and I make no BS aquarium guides, and in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to get rid of algae fast. So if you find these types of videos helpful, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell. It helps get my content out to a wider audience. Let's go. Algae is basically omnipresent. It's always in your tank, even if you can't see it. In a healthy, balanced aquarium, where the plants are living their best lives, it's barely visible. It only takes over your aquarium for one simple reason. Your tank is not balanced. I know, you've probably heard that before, but I'm gonna actually teach you how to fix the issues in this video. We've got to understand the basics though, and the good news is they're not complicated. So here's the simple truth. Plants need light, nutrients, and CO2 in the right proportions. If even one of those three is off, algae steps in because it's simple, easy to please, and thrives when your plants are weak. If your CO2 is unstable, plants slow down, and algae takes advantage. If you overdose fertilizers or there's not enough of the right light, plant growth stalls and algae pushes through the gaps. And of course, more light than your plants can use in a day, algae creeps in. Algae isn't some mysterious monster, it's just opportunistic. Lighting, fertilizer, and carbon, they're a triangle. Fixing the triangle is the fastest way to get results. So how do we do that? Well, carbon and ferts are the easy part. Make sure that your tank has 30 to 60 parts per million of CO2 by 1 to 2 hours after the lights are on. You measure this with a drop checker. As for the ferts, follow the instructions on an all-in-one bottle like UNS Plant Food. The most tricky variable is the light. I've got an entire no BS guide on lighting that's linked in the description, but here's the basics of how to dial it in. Assuming your ferts and CO2 are dialed in, which again is the easy part, and your plants look healthy, but you have algae, odds are there's too much lighting for the system. Lower your lighting by 10 to 20% and give it 10 days. If things improve, awesome. If they don't improve, lower it by another 10%. Give it 10 days, repeat. Now, let's say the plants don't look healthy. Poor color, irregular leaf shape, leggy growth, premature wilting of lower leaves. You likely don't have enough of the right light. So step 1, make sure your light is engineered to grow plants, which means it produces light in the 400 to 700 nanometer range. Good news for you is you don't have to overthink this. Most planted aquarium lights produce that type of light. Step 2, make sure this range of light is actually hitting the leaves of your plants. In essence, make sure there's enough intensity and that it's close enough to the plants. You can do this by moving the light closer to the plants if the fixture is suspended, and/or by upping the intensity of the light. If you want to learn exactly how to balance a planted aquarium in more detail, check out my No BS guide linked in the description, but those are the basics. So that's the root cause. That's the most important thing to address. I cannot stress this enough. Avoiding that is like wanting to get fit without eating right. So with that out of the way, let's talk about how to tidy things up in the short term with some quick solutions. The first technique to implement is manual removal. This does way more than people think. Scrub the hardscapes, scrub the leaves if you need to, and clean the glass completely. Trim any far gone plant tissue away and net it out. An electric toothbrush works extremely well on wood and stone. I'll link the waterproof one I use in the description. A regular soft bristle toothbrush can twist and pull out hair-like algae, kind of like a wand. And a coarse algae scraper, like this one from AquaWorks, takes care of stubborn spots that your brushes can't handle. Make sure to siphon or net out any suspended algae. This is really important. Don't leave it in the tank. Always, always, always follow big maintenance with big water changes. Good maintenance and good husbandry, this puts you way ahead before you even have to think about chemicals. And most importantly, it keeps you psychologically in the game. Because let's be honest, if your tank looks like crap, you're going to be tempted to give up. So keep things neat and stay in the game. Now for the chemical algae killers. If you want to use chemicals, do it carefully and always do it in conjunction with root cause treatment and manual removal. So here are my pro tips. Spot dosing store-bought 3% hydrogen peroxide or Chem Excel can knock back certain types of algae very quickly, but they're not a magic fix and they won't solve the underlying imbalance. Think of them as a cleanup assistant, not a solution, and always follow dosing instructions. Chem outlines their instructions very clearly on the bottle. For the hydrogen peroxide, you can safely spot dose 5 to 10 mils per 5 gallons of tank water.
Hydrogen peroxide is my secret weapon. I use it to spot dose all the time. And now let's talk about the cleanup crew, the last 10% of your algae control. Algae eaters like shrimp, snails, and autocats can help with that final 10%, but as always, they're not going to fix the underlying systemic issues. Amano shrimp are really great at grazing on hardscape like wood and stone. Autocats and horned nerite snails, the smaller nerite that lays a much tinier, less stubborn egg, they do great work on glass. I like to think of these animals as a Roomba. They're not going to do a deep cleaning in your house, but they'll help tidy up a little bit. So understand their limitations, and as always, treat animals with the reverence and the respect they deserve. So to recap, algae takes over because your tank is imbalanced. Fix the triangle: the right amount of light, consistent CO2, and a stable, all-in-one fertilizer combined with regular maintenance. I recommend 1 to 2 30% water changes per week for a high energy setup. You can get by with less if it's a lower energy setup. Use chemicals and algae eaters as assistance, not a crutch.
So if you found this video helpful, please like it, subscribe, and hit the bell. And let me know down below in the comments, what algae are you struggling with right now? Maybe we can work through it together in the comments as a community. But if you need some one-on-one attention, you can go ahead and book a one-on-one consultation with me. That's linked in my link tree on my socials. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys and gals next time. Bye-bye.